Philadelphia, PA, for a matchup between fierce division rivals in the rubber match of the series. One of the hottest teams in the show right now, sit atop the National League East. Tonight, they try and win their 4th consecutive series. They're up against the 2-time defending National League champion Phillies, powered again by All-Stars Ryan Howard and Chase Utley. The Phillies will stake their own claim to this weekend set against the Mets. The big crowd has gathered. It's a beautiful night. Temperatures got up near 90 in Philadelphia today. It feels like midsummer. The Mets and the Phillies in the rubber match of their 3-game series. This is Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller, along with our ace right-hander, Oral Hershiser, the man who owns the all-time Major League record for consecutive scoreless innings pitched. Not bad. And, of course, my Hall of Fame partner, Joe Morgan, one of the greatest second basemen to ever play the game. Welcome to Sunday Night Baseball. Now, the Phillies are the 2-time defending National League champions, and they are renowned for their high-powered offense. Chase Utley, Jason Worth, Raul Ibanez, all sluggers. But the most prolific run producer for the Phillies is Ryan Howard, the big guy who got the big contract extension earlier this week. And Joe, in his first 4 full seasons here in the Major Leagues, his average year is just under 50 homers and 143 RBIs.
Well, John, you can pencil him in right now for 45 or more home runs plus 130 plus RBIs. This guy is an elite player. Those numbers make him an elite player, and he's being paid like an elite player. But when you talk to the Phillies, it's not just about his numbers. They like his attitude. He is a guy that they asked to lose weight. He went out and lost weight. They asked him to improve his defense. He's improved his defense. He even stole 8 bases last year. He's a great guy in the clubhouse. So what the Phillies are thinking is this is the guy they can build around for the next few years. And when you talk to Charlie Manuel, he says it best. He says the big piece got a big piece of the pie, and they're all happy. And that's what's important. The Phillies are happy, and so is Ryan Howard.
And I'm sure Phillies fans are ecstatic. He's all locked in, and he'll be here for a long time to come. Now, the Phillies got clobbered here on Friday night by the Mets, but the Phillies' new ace, Roy Halliday, got them even yesterday. He shut out the Mets. Now, Oral, the Mets, in the rubber match of this series, are turning to their ace, one of the best left-handers in the game, Johan Santana.
Yeah, the Phillies ace did the job. Now it's the Mets' turn, and they both are alike. They pound the strike zone 68.9% of the time. Both Halliday and Santana throw strikes. That's at the top of the league. But Santana does it with his fastball and changeup. But this year, it's a little different. A September 1 bone chip cleanup has made his elbow feel great. The slider is back, the bite on the slider. So not only does it attack the zone with the fastball and changeup, but the slider. But the thing they have to watch out for, 9 years of wear and tear, the elbow cleanup, they've got him limited about 115 pitches. We'll see how deep he goes into the game tonight.
So here we go. Early season showdown, the Mets and the Phillies. The Mets, who've been red hot, they had an 8-game winning streak snapped here on Friday. Jamie Moyer heading to the hill for the Phillies, who are taking the field. Moyer, the ancient one, 47 years old, up against the Mets when we come back.
Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And in part by One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of MLB, specially formulated for men.
The fabulous Philly fanatic in statue form, and there are some 20 fanatic statues found all around Philadelphia, all decorated by local artists and on display until August. And there's the real deal. He's getting ready for the first round. Going to come out punching. Jerry Manuel, manager of the Mets. And here's the batting order he turned in tonight, presented by Taco Bell. The Mets will have Gary Matthews Jr. leading it off in center field. Then Luis Castillo at second base. Jose Reyes at shortstop, batting third again. It'll be Jason Bay in left field. David Wright is at third base. Fernando Tatis at first. Jeff Francoeur, right field. Rod Barajas, the catcher. Johan Santana, the pitcher, batting ninth. And the 47-year-old lefty Jamie Moyer on the hill against the Mets.
And the one thing you can see when you look at the Mets clubhouse and dugout, look how loose they are. This is a team that's been under a lot of pressure at the beginning of the season to do well. And there's Ike Davis, the phenomenal rookie they brought up. But this is a loose clubhouse, and Jerry Manuel, I think, is the reason for that. He never lost the clubhouse, even though things weren't going well at the beginning of the season.
Well, Jamie Moyer on the mound, the 47-year-old ageless wonder, oldest player in the big leagues by 3 years over Tim Wakefield. Fastball changeup to right-handers, fastball breaking ball to left-handers.
So Moyer is making his fifth start of the year. 2 wins, 2 losses, a 5.25 ERA. Gary Matthews Jr., Jamie Moyer broke into the big leagues, and one of his teammates was Gary Matthews Sr., Sarge. And there's a strike call to Matthews Jr. Moyer is both the oldest starting pitcher to win a game and to lose a game against the Mets. And as he curves it outside for a ball, he faced the Mets 3 times in his rookie season, 1986, and that was a great Mets team. One of the best Mets teams ever. They won the World Series that year. That's a slow tap to third. And Polanco, one away. Phillies on the field. You saw Placido Polanco, the former Tiger, back here with the Phillies. And let's take a look at the Phillies defensively around the outfield. It's Raul Ibanez, Shane Victorino, a 2-time Gold Glover in center, and Jason Worth in right. On the infield, Polanco, 2 Gold Gloves, but he was a second baseman for the Tigers when he won them. Juan Castro at short, Utley at second, Ryan Howard at first, with the catcher Carlos Ruiz, one of the excellent catchers in the National League for calling a game and as a receiver. And it's ball 1 to Luis Castillo.
And John, that at bat by Gary Matthews Jr. is exactly what Moyer tries to do, get you to roll over it as a hitter.
That's at the knees for a called strike. 82. Now, remember that one, Oral, because that might be as high a radar gun reading as he'll get tonight.
Yeah, that is definitely accurate. Don't adjust your TV station at home.
That's a liner to right field for a base hit.
And that's what you have to do. Try to go back through the middle or the other way. What I mean by rolling over it, that's trying to pull that off-speed pitch, and you're going to roll over the top of it and hit a little ground ball to shortstop or third base. And watch what Castillo does. The ball's away, and he just goes the other way. Doesn't try to pull it. I don't believe you should completely go the other way, aim back through the middle, and just go where and let it go where it goes. But you have to make sure you don't go up there trying to pull the ball. You could see his game plan right there was to go the other way. Good job there by Castillo.
Castillo, who was in a base stealing mood when we saw him last Sunday night in New York. There's a called strike to Jose Reyes. Castillo has 3 steals so far this year. Now Reyes has had at least 1 hit in 9 of his last 11 games, but it doesn't mean he's actually hitting real well right now. This is his 9th consecutive game as the 3rd place hitter. And that's a called strike.
I I think the jury is still out on whether he can be a third-place hitter, John. This is something that they're trying to find out. He's driven in 2 runs since he has been in that spot. But you have to learn to be a third-place hitter, especially if you've been a leadoff hitter most of your career.
Chases that high fastball. Shallow right center, Jason Worth. Castillo will go back to first. 2 down, and now Jason Bay, the cleanup hitter.
And what I mean by learning that position, every position in the lineup demands something different. You know, if you're a leadoff hitter, your job is to get on base, score a run. Third place hitter, your job is to drive in runs as well as score runs. So he has to adjust to those different.
With Carlos Beltran not in the lineup yet, still coming back from the knee surgery. He was expected around right now, but it's looking to be a little bit later. Has not resumed baseball activities yet. Kerry Emanuel going with Reyes in the 3rd hole.
Here's Jason Bay, and it is 0-1.
And Castillo looked like he wanted to go on that pitch, but he got caught out there. And if Moyer would have been going to first, he may have been picked off. But Moyer had his mind made up he was going home.
Jason Bay has been hitting much better after a very slow start. Actually hitting much better since Reyes became the 3rd place hitter just in front of him.
He said he's getting a few more fastballs, not consciously looking for it, but he has received about 10% more fastballs since Reyes went into the 3rd hole. And even though Reyes made an out here with Castillo on first, he still has a chance to see more straight ones with Castillo over there that possibly could steal.
And that's off the inside. 2-1 the count to Bay, who has only 1 home run. He has 8 runs batted in. In fact, the Mets, Bay has been the primary cleanup man, but the Mets cleanup position for the year has only knocked in 8 runs total. 2nd lowest in the majors up till now. A soft roller. Bare hand attempt by Castro. Utley picks it up on the rebound. Castillo to second. Bay safe at first. I'm sure they'll score that an infield hit for Jason Bay.
Well, it's always going to be a base hit if a guy barehands it. I mean, it's always going to end up that way. He charges the ball and then he decides this ball is rolling pretty quickly. And you can see it's not an easy play to make barehanded. That's why you wear a glove, because balls that are rolling fast or hit hard, it's tougher to catch them barehanded. He tried to make the barehand pickup, wasn't able to do it, so it'll be scored as a base hit.
2 men on, and here is David Wright. Wright has a .426 lifetime average against Jamie Moyer as he takes a called strike. There have been 79 hitters who faced Moyer at least 40 times, and none of them had a better batting average against Moyer than does David Wright at .426. And that is inside. David Wright hitting for more power, and he's got 16 RBIs. Actually, his pace right now would equate to 27 homers and 108 RBIs if he just did what he's doing right now for the whole season. And that is off the inside. But he's hitting only 275. On the other side of it, David Wright with a .427 on base average. So he's been getting a lot of walks, and I'm wondering if people are pitching around him a little bit. 2-1 the count. This is an RBI spot right here. Castillo at second, Bay at first. And he pulled that one foul.
As a hit,
Jamie Moyer really looks like he's pitching him inside. Every pitch so far has either been a cutter in on the hands or a breaking ball moving towards the inside part of the plate. Really not wanting him to extend at all. You see Ruiz go in there, ball on the inside corner just off, and then going right back in there. Gave up the hit to Castillo to right field, kind of served it out there, and doesn't want David Wright to be able to do that.
2-2. Goes back in there again. Got a little extra on that fastball, trying to crowd him, but off the inside.
Yeah, he's staying in there. He is staying consistent. He does not want to play with the barrel of the bat. He's trying to jam him or at least get him to start the bat and pull that ball foul, putting him in a position where it's very hard to keep fair.
Those runners will take off now. Castillo at second, Bay at first. There they go. Change up. Hit ever so slowly, foul up the first base side.
And as a hitter, John, your approach against a guy like Moyer who can't throw the ball by you, is you see the ball before you move. Let it see it out of his hand, find the ball, then go get it. That keeps you from being way out in front on the changeups. He's not going to be able to throw the ball by you because he's throwing 82 miles an hour. So as a hitter, you're used to hitting 90-plus miles an hour fastballs. You are quick enough to wait, and then attack the ball. You can't swing in his motion. That's where he gets you off balance, is to swing in his motion instead of finding the ball after he releases it.
2 men on, 2 men out, the runners go. That one is hit deep into left center field. Victorino looking up. It's gone. A 3-run homer for David Wright. And so the Mets jump ahead for their ace, Johan Santana, big time, courtesy of David Wright.
And John, when things are going well for you, as they are with the Mets, things happen positive for you. What happened is David Wright swung at a real bad pitch, 3-2, and fouled it off. Now he gets another pitch and he hits it out of the ballpark. Let's take a look at the sequences. We talked about it. There's a curveball for a strike. Then he starts going inside, consistently staying off the plate inside. Even the ball he hits is off the plate. Off the plate. Now here's the pitch. The 3-2 pitch, the first 3-2 pitch was way out of the strike zone. Low and away, Wright got a piece of it, swung at it, fouled it, and then he got a good pitch to hit. So the Mets are lucky he didn't take the 3-2 pitch for ball 4.
2-0 to Fernando Tatis. Well, let's go back and take a look at what you're talking about, Joe. It's a first 3-2 pitch, a changeup that ended up being, as you mentioned, not only low, but off the outside. A squibber, Brian Howard, may have gotten a glove on it. Tatis is going to try for 2. Worth with a strong arm, but he can't pick the ball up. Tatis is into second with a double.
And that's the way the Mets have been playing. They've been hustling, putting pressure on the defense, and that's what you want to do. Just with 2 outs, go for it. If he throws you out, okay. You always try to get in the scoring position with 2 outs. As you mentioned, right off the end of the bat, one of those squibbers, Howard, all he could do was try to smother it, which he tried to do. And as it bounces away, the hustle by Tatis, and he goes into second base with a double.
So now Jeff Francoeur, 3 runs are in for the Mets. Francoeur, the 7th place hitter, with 4 homers, 13 batted in. That ball is hit a mile down the left field line. Is it fair? It's curving foul off the facing of the second deck. Wow.
One of the things I'm noticing, Oral, is he's throwing 78 miles an hour with changeup, 76 miles an hour, and 82 miles by his fastball. There's not a big differential there between those pitches.
You know, his worst innings are 5 innings of his 24, and now this is 25th inning. He's given up all his runs in big innings.
From deep in the hole, Castro in the dirt, and Howard hangs on to it on a tough hop. And the inning is over at long last for Moyer. With 2 down, Jason Bay had an infield hit, and now 3 runs later. Philadelphia, the Phillies coming up, already down by 3 runs. Charlie Manuel been the man at the helm as the Phillies have gone to 2 straight World Series. This is the lineup Charlie has turned in, presented by Taco Bell. Shane Victorino, center field, big day yesterday. Placido Polanco, third base. Chase Utley at second base. Ryan Howard, the cleanup man. Jason Worth in right field. Raul Ibanez in left field. Juan Castro in place of the ailing Jimmy Rollins at short. Carlos Ruiz, the catcher, and Jamie Moyer is the pitcher, batting ninth.
You think about this lineup, hard to pick out a key, but Chase Utley, the guy with a bat that's so fast it's like butterfly wings, I'll tell you what, he can be consistent, and he has gotten back on track. Got off to a fast start at the beginning of the year. Now here, going into May, back on track on this homestand. But against Santana, 5 for 26.
But 3 of those 5 hits. Big flies. Victorino. And there's ball 1. So it figures to be a tough night when you have to face Santana. Been one of the premier pitchers in baseball for several years. 2 Cy Young awards. But now, before they ever bat against him, they're down by 3 runs. That's at the knees for a called strike at 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
If Santana can stay around 90 miles an hour, even 92, he can get up there. It's going to be very difficult for the Phillies to handle his changeup.
One of the great changeups in the game. And Victorino chasing the high fastball, fouling it. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
The first thing that jumps in my mind when I look at Santana is that he has a lot of guts. I mean, he is a tough competitor. He comes right after you. Even when he doesn't have his best stuff, he will challenge you.
1-2 the count. And the changeup is in the dirt for a ball.
He will pound the strike zone. I know it's 2-2 right here, but 68.9% of the pitches that come out of his hand are strikes. That's #1 in the National League, tied with Roy Halladay. The fastball, changeup, slider for a strike.
Fastball low on inside, so now it's a full count to Victorino. Victorino had been slumping until yesterday. Yesterday, he had a 3-hit game, including a home run. He broke out of it in style.
So did Chase Utley. He had been slow a little bit, and he had a good day as well.
Most of the Phillies have been slumping lately. High pop-up. Jose Reyes calls off David Wright. And Victorino is gone.
We talked about Utley having 3 home runs off of Santana. He's only given up 1 home run so far this season, but it was a grand slam to Josh Willingham of the Washington Nats. But that's the only home run he's given up so far this season. But he has given up 5 home runs in 28 innings here at Citi Field. I mean, here in Philadelphia, Citizens Bank Park.
There we go.
I like Citi Field.
Polanco, well, then you must have been a pitcher in a previous life.
Right. Exactly. Well, I wouldn't like it to hit in. I just like the ballpark.
Placido Polanco. He got off to a great start this year. One of the best ever for a Philly. And that one is a foul out of play. He had 20 hits in the first 10 games of the season. It had been 91 years since a Phillies hitter had 20 hits in the first 10 games. Remember Cy Williams back in 1919?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, he did.
I read about it.
But he's only hitting 128 since then. Only 6 hits in the last 13 games. That ball is hit deep to left field. Way back there. It's on its way and gone. On an 0-2 pitch, no less. Polanco with his 3rd home run of the year.
You talk to Charlie Manuel about this hitter that they acquired from the Detroit Tigers, and they say he might be one of the best hitters on their team. He squares up more balls than anybody. He's got some short arms, and he uses a very short back. This high and in fastball on an 0-2 pitch, he does a great job pulling his hands in and getting the barrel to bat on it.
Now Chase Utley, the 2nd home run allowed this year by Johan Santana. And a fastball in there for a strike. Chase Utley, 294 average, 6 home runs, 15 batted in. And Utley has been getting a lot of walks. He's got a 439 on base average. Mets have a shift out for him. 3 infielders have moved to the right of second. And he hits into the defense. Tatis, Santana covering. 2 down.
Yeah, watch Polanco swing on this home run off Santana. Remember, the count is 0-2. He goes with a high fastball, but look how he gets his hands in there quick. This is not a mistake other than maybe the width. Maybe get it in a little bit more. You see Rod Barajas' glove a little bit towards the middle, but the high target, they're going up and in, but he just doesn't get it in enough. Polanco did a nice job getting the barrel of the bat. Pull the hands in, use the hips to get it through, and he hit it a long way.
Actually, that choice of pitches surprises me a little bit. Polanco's a pretty good high fastball hitter. I know he wanted to waste it, but he didn't let him waste it.
Here's Ryan Howard. They got a huge shift on for Howard, as always. That's a called strike. 3 infielders to the right of second, and one of them, Castillo, the second baseman, is out in right field. David Wright is the shortstop, and there's nobody anywhere close, nobody within 80 feet of third base. Ryan Howard had not been hitting home runs lately. Check swing foul. And it's quickly strike 2 to Ryan Howard. Howard has only 1 home run in his last 76 at-bats. He snapped a career worst 65 at-bat streak in San Francisco on Wednesday with a home run. But he hit the home run against Tim Lincecum, 2-time Cy Young winner. And they're now facing Santana.
He's tall and he's thin now. He's lost a lot of weight, but he gained it back in the wallet when the contract came down.
You see the numbers. He's done well against Santana. 3 home runs, 23 at-bats. That ball is hit high in the air to left field. That ball is way back there, and goodbye!
Well, we talked about Santana having only given up 1 home run so far this season, but 5 here at Citizen Bank Park, and now he's given up 2 more. The interesting thing about this is it's a changeup away. He hasn't thrown a curveball yet, but this is a changeup away, and Howard hits it that way. Doesn't try to pull it, just goes the other way with it. There it is, changeup, and not a bad changeup. It was away, could have been a little lower, I guess, but that's what happens when you're that strong and you wait that long. If you're strong enough you can wait like that, you can have success.
Here's Jason Worth. 36 home runs for him last year. The Phillies have a lot of sock in the middle of that batting order. Ryan Howard with his 5th home run of the year. And his 2nd in the last 4 games after that long drought. 3-2 Mets. Changeup in for a strike. 1-1 to Worth. Worth is hitting .338, 3 home runs and 16 runs batted in. He leads the league in doubles. And he got him out front on that changeup, and it's a foul back out of play.
And I've said all along that Jason Worth was one of the most underrated players in the game because he does a lot of things to help you win. And last year he had his best season, 36 home runs, 99 RBIs on a team that scored a lot of runs.
He's a good outfielder, strong arm.
Yeah, he does a lot of things to help you win. He's a winning type ball player.
Slider down and in for a ball. 2-2, and he can steal a base.
Yeah, he can steal a base for you. Had 20 each of the last 2 years.
And in fact, he steals third base. Is sort of a specialty. He steals third base more often than anybody.
Third base is actually the easiest base to steal, but
well, that's all you have to do is ask Jason Worth.
Yeah, but most of the managers do not like you to steal third because you're already in scoring position. But it is easier to steal because you can get a running start from second base, whereas you have to go from a stationary start at first base. So it's tougher to,
Yeah, and the pitcher doesn't concentrate as much, and they should, because you really, when you turn your head towards home plate, they can time your head, so it's not strictly on leg kick.
No, it's exactly. So much easier to get a running start.
3-2 now to Worth. He had to jump out of the way of that Fastball down and in. 2 home runs for the Phillies against Santana just here in the first inning after David Wright's 3-run homer in the first half of the inning. We've had some action here in Philly. Along the right field line, moving laterally, Francoeur. And the inning is over. Okay. An action-filled first inning. The Phillies with home runs from Polanco and the big guy, Ryan Howard. Now the Mets are coming up, leading 3-2. Hitting number 2, Jamie Moyer goes to work with the Phillies trailing the Mets 3-2, and he throws a called strike to Rod Barajas. Barajas did not play in yesterday's game, but had a big night here on Friday with a double and 2 home runs, and he has hit well in this yard. A change up that fooled him, and it's 0-2. Barajas is a free swinger. There's no question about that. He almost never walks.
Yeah, he gets the bat start. I was a pitching coach and worked closely with him when he was in Texas. And he can hit some home runs when he gets hot. He's got 5. He leads the Mets in home runs.
In only 66 at bats. Off the end of the bat. That's going to be a base hit. Dunks it in on an 0-2 pitch.
I was talking about the fact that when you're hot and your team is playing well, you know, things happen in your favor. David Wright was hitting with runners at first and second. The first 3-2 pitch. See, that pitch is way out of the strike zone. If he takes it, then he doesn't hit this home run on the next pitch. He swung at that pitch, fouled it off, got another pitch in the middle of the plate, and hits a home run. That's when you're going well as a team. Otherwise,
he could have swung and missed. He could have grounded out, fair.
Yeah.
He could have taken it and walked. But, yeah, of the 3 or the 4 things that could happen, he gets one more pitch and gets a home run.
And that's when things are going well for you. That's what happens to the team.
Wright hit his 5th home run last year in his 281st at bat. He's got 5 in his first 81 at bats this year. 200 at bats earlier. Santana gets the bunt down. A nice one. Polanco's only plays to first. Has to hurry with Utley covering. And Barajas goes over to second base. Gary Matthews Jr. coming up. Let's go to the studio to Steve Berthiaume for a Sports Center right now.
Man, they may be sorry they gave Moyer $184 million. I don't think they are.
Some people think that Moyer will not finish that contract as a catcher.
Yeah.
That he's so valuable as a hitter that they will start the process at some point of moving him to another position. Gary Matthews Jr. grounded out his first time. He's the leadoff man. He yanks that one deep and foul.
And both at bats, he has been out in front of Jamie Moyer. He rolled over in the first inning to third base. And Gary's a good enough hitter to stay back through the middle, left center to right center, and he could have some success.
He's hit a couple of home runs in his career against Moyer. 24 at bats. Fastball on the inside edge. And Matthews didn't think so. He seemed to have a little complaint there with Todd Titchener.
Well, he's been throwing some cutters in there, and this ball kind of stays right there on the inside corner. Doesn't cut very much. The thing that Jamie Moyer does with hitters, he knows that they're going to make contact because he throws such soft stuff. What he does is he turns the field. And what I mean by that is in relation to when the batter makes contact, he knows the loud contact. He's trying to make him pull it foul. He doesn't care if it's hard or soft. Just hit it foul, give me a strike.
So really Matthews played right into his hands when he launched that fabulous foul ball home run.
Well, as a pitcher of Jamie Moyer's style, he is not worried when they hit home runs foul at all. That doesn't tell you that he has bad stuff. It really tells you he might be doing exactly what he wants to do.
So as we were all admiring that foul ball home run, Moyer said, good, okay, I got it. There's a change up a little bit too low. 3-2 the count.
Well, what you'll do with a guy that you know you can't sneak a fastball by, which Jamie Moyer knows with the whole lineup, but a regular pitcher, a normal pitcher, you might take a little off and throw the ball on the inner half or just inside to make him pull it foul to steal some strikes. I did that with Joe Carter an awful lot.
That is foul. Still 3-2. You stole something from Joe Carter?
Yeah, stole strikes from him by throwing the ball, BP fastballs on the inner half of the plate or slightly in because he hooked a lot of balls. And so when you come around it like that, you want him to get him to pull it foul. You don't care how hard they hit it.
I like that you're talking about stealing from Joe Carter.
Yeah. Touch them all, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Into the World Series with a home run. 1993 against the Phillies. That's down the left field line. That one is foul. Now, that was a little closer to being fair.
Yeah, that one you probably don't like because it is too fair.
Well, it was a good pitch to hit.
Close.
If you watch this pitch again, it's pretty much in the middle of the plate, but he just used his hands a little bit too much. Watch where this pitch is, right in the middle of the plate. And like you said, it's just a loud foul.
Right about there, I'm going, get foul, go, hook.
3-2 the count. Jamie Moyer, when he came up, was not only a teammate of Gary Matthews Jr.'s dad, his games are now broadcast by Gary's dad, Sarge, Gary Matthews Sr., a broadcaster for the Phillies. And that one is foul. Still 3-2.
And because we're here, Sarge is off tonight.
Jamie Moyer's even got the fans out in front. Diving over the rail too early.
3-2 to Gary Matthews Jr. When Jamie Moyer played with Gary Matthews' dad, he played with Ike Davis's dad, Ron Davis, with the Cubs. And James Russell, now a pitcher for Texas, he played with his dad, Jeff Russell. He was a closer, eventually in the big league, but all three of those guys played with the Cubs when Moyer first came up. Over to third base, he's got Barajas. Rod must have forgotten how many outs there were with that long at bat by Gary Matthews Jr.
The general rule for base runners is if the ball's hit in front of you, you do not go. And watch where this ball is hit. Hit in front of him, but he still tries to go. If it's hit in front of you, it means that the shortstop's going to get it quick enough that he has a chance to throw you out at third base. You advance on the ball that's hit behind you as a base runner at second base.
Well, he had to forget how many outs there were.
I think he just thought he could make it. Well, I mean,
he was out by 20 feet.
I don't think he forgot how many outs there were. I think it was more he just thought he could, he just
Barajas said, I can make this easily.
Well, he just took off.
A veteran catcher was brought here to steer the pitching staff and has done a fine job so far, but right there is a little embarrassed, I'm sure. And Guys are giving him a little hard time, laughing.
Dave Joust patting him on the shoulder, one of the Mets coaches. Luis Castillo now. Now Castillo has got a shot to drive in a runner from second base. Not so much of a shot to drive a runner in from first base.
I'm going to go back to what we saw there in the dugout.
Yep.
You know, them patting him on the back. That's not one of those pat you on the back plays when I came to the big leagues.
But the great thing is he sat right down next to his starting pitcher, and they're starting to work on how are we going to shut these guys down. Santana, he didn't sit there and sulk, and he took the pat on the back from a few guys, but they got right to talking defense.
1-1 the count to Castillo, who hit a single his first time. Moyer buzzed him with that one. A ball and a strike. 3-2. The Mets are leading in the second inning.
Players a little more sensitive nowadays, don't you think?
Well, I mean, there's certain things.
Guys used to get on each other really
Exactly.
hard in your day.
Players used to laugh and joke with it, but they were serious about when you made a mistake.
Truth and jest.
Yeah. Well, they call it constructive criticism.
Oh.
So, like one of your teammates would come to you and make some...
if I made a mistake, yes.
Like Tony Perez. He might say something to you such as...
Don't do it again. Yeah.
Broken back and caught by Castro. Don't do it again or else.
Right.
One hit, one left. Ibanez coming up against Santana. 3-2 Mets.
Correct.
Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. As always, it is filled. The Mets and the Phillies renewing hostilities. This has become a pretty good rivalry, especially these last 3-4 years when they have been battling each other, with the exception last year, all the way up to the end of the season for the top spot in the division. Ibanez is out number one, a one-pitch determination there as Tatis fed the ball to Santana. Ibanez, who has not gotten going yet. He's only had one home run and a .222 average, and the Phillies are counting on him for another 30 home runs, something, 100-something RBI season.
Jimmy Rollins out right now with a right calf injury. Raul has not gotten going last year. A great sign by Ruben Amaro Jr., the general manager, who brought him in here from Seattle, and he really was a great fit for this club. They're attempting to go back to the World Series for the third consecutive year.
And he is not hitting at home. 3 for 25 at home. Of course, they haven't been at home very much so far this year. Phillies have spent most of the early season traveling. This is only their 9th home game out of their first 24 games.
And that's the Mets have played 15 home games. And the Phillies have only, they started this homestand. They've been 3-3 on the road. And this is their, as you said, their 9th game here.
Change up right back to Santana. And Castro is a quick out. Jimmy Rollins on the disabled list. He has a strained right calf muscle. And he was doing some work before the game. He just cannot run. He cannot do the kind of running, the stopping and making a turn and whatnot that you have to make during a game. And there he was with Charlie Manuel. He was not only the manager of the Phillies, he was also an excellent hitting instructor in years past. And he will not be bashful about imparting some advice on occasion.
And you see the difference with Rollins and how they've done without him. It was interesting. I asked Rollins, I said, how are you doing? He said, I'm doing okay. But I said, when? And he just looked at me and kind of shook his head. He doesn't have a timetable for when he's going to get back, because it's still, as you said, you can pull it again if you start quickly. And that's what they have to guard against. But you were mentioning, Charlie Manuel was a hitting instructor. I was standing behind the plate with him today when Raul Ibanez was hitting, and he had some interesting thoughts.
It's a fastball for a strike to Carlos Ruiz, 1-2.
We were standing there because Ibanez was hitting the ball back through the middle and the other way, kind of pushing it, and Charlie wanted him to let it go, and he started really swinging the bat much better.
Change up. Nice pickup by Wright, and a nice pickup by Tatis to get the put out at first. Beautiful partnership there between Wright and Tatis, and a 7-pitch inning for Santana. Big hitters coming up with the Mets: Reyes, Bay, and Wright. It's 3-2. Wright with his 3-run first inning homer coming up again.
Coming to save the world on May 21st.
Well, when we come to Philadelphia, our crew from Sunday Night Baseball hits all of the famous cheesesteak joints, such as Pat's and Gino's, located on opposite corners in South Philly, Jim's on South Street, Tony Luke's. I mean, they were not just checking it out in person, they were making notes so they could get it on the telecast, because they were just doing some research for Sunday Night Baseball. Jamie Moyer, and Reyes hits one foul down the left field line. Not quite home run distance, although Reyes did point out to me, I said, how you do against Moyer? Generally, he says, I had a home run against him last year. And Reyes didn't hit many home runs last year because he was not able to play many games. He got hurt. He only played 36 games. Pops this one up. Utley wants it.
John, I was talking about him adjusting to hitting third, meaning Jose Reyes. I mean, he has been more aggressive tonight. First pitch swinging in the first time up. Now he's come up this time, 2 pitches swinging again. I mean, he didn't do it that way when he was hitting leadoff, so he's adjusting to, you know, this position. Here's the first pitch. He pulls it foul. Here's the second pitch, and he pops it up. So he's seen like 3 pitches in the ball game.
He's attacking Jamie Moyer, that's for sure.
Here's Jason Bay. And a slider at the knees for a called strike.
You think about Jose Reyes, no spring training, out almost a year because of the hamstring surgery, and now here he is, a couple games in the minor leagues, and then hit third and play short. Go ahead, big boy. That's some talent.
But he has the talent. There's no doubt he has the talent to hit anywhere in the order, I believe. You know, I think he's going to get stronger, going to hit more home runs, etc. So it's just a matter of adjusting to the new position.
Backdoor slider for a called strike to Bay. 1-2 the count. Jose Reyes had not been hitting real well since we last saw them last Sunday night. Just off the inside. 2-2 the count to Bay. But Reyes has been scoring runs as the number 3 hitter. He doesn't have a good batting average hitting third, but he scored nearly a run per game in that time. That's hit very softly again. Bare hand pickup. Polanco. Got him! That was close. And I don't think Bay agrees with the call.
Now, that was an easier bare hand play than the one we saw Castro try to make. The ball is not rolling as fast, and you can grab it, and a nice play by Polanco. Well, see, this ball is not hit very hard. So you come in and you can time it, picks it up perfectly on the short hop even, and gets rid of it, and just barely gets Jason Bay at first base.
Isn't it a little easier for a third baseman to bare-hand it because the ball is going directly into their hand? You see how close it is over there. Got him. But the shortstop, the hand is actually traveling on an angle, and then he's got to throw the angle throw. It's a little harder bare-hand play.
David Wright pulls a foul. Ed Rapuano, by the way, going to give him his props for the call. That's a real close call, and he got it absolutely correct. And we know that because we watched it in slow motion with freeze frames and whatnot. 2-time Gold Glove winner in the American League, Placido Polanco. 0-2 to David Wright. He hit a 3-run homer in the first inning. And he got the count full. And as you pointed out, Joe, he tapped a changeup foul. This time a soaring fly ball to center. Victorino, plenty of room. And Moyer has a quiet inning against some of the Mets' best hitters. Rich Doobie, Jamie Moyer's pitching coach, the Phillies pitching coach, is going to visit with us in 60 seconds from the Phillies dugout. We'll be back. Mets and the Phillies, 3-2 Mets as we go to the last of the third inning. Now we'll spend some FaceTime with Phillies pitching coach Rich Doobie, presented by Edward Jones. Welcome, Rich. Thank you.
All right, how you doing, guys?
Rich, it's Joe Morgan. Hey, I was looking at Moyer's statistics. He has not been able to stay away from the big innings so far this season. What is the problem there?
Well, it's been various problems. In Houston, he was going along good and then kind of lost his arm slot and gave up a couple 2-run home runs. You know, and tonight, I mean, he makes a good pitch to Bay, and Bay gets an infield base hit, keeps the inning rolling. Then Wright put a pretty good at bat on him, and he made a mistake with a changeup. So it's little things like that.
Joe Blanton has been down in the minor leagues pitching. When do you expect to have him back?
Joe's going to pitch tomorrow night. Joe's ready to go. He had a rehab outing of 67 pitches 5 days ago, so he's all set.
Hey, Rich, who's the closer tonight? If you have a lead in the ninth, who's coming in to close?
I don't know. We'll discuss that later on. Hopefully we got an opportunity.
All right. Rich Doobie, many thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Phillies pitching coach, Rich Doobie.
I actually talked to Charlie about that behind the cage, and he said he's probably going to mix and match, depending on left-hander, right-hander. He's going to just use – he's not going to have one specific closer.
Jamie Moyer, the hitter. And he takes ball one from Johan Santana. Moyer, 1 for 5. He got the highest batting average by any 47-year-old in the majors. 1 ball, 1 strike.
There's only one in that club.
So, but he's got an average.
This is true.
It's not 0-0-0.
If your fastball tops out at 82, how's your bat speed?
Look at that. He's hammering that ball. And Reyes throws him out. Then he raced up the line, too. Very impressive for a 47-year-old guy. Fans, when you've been at the major league level for 24 years and still pitching at the age of 47, you were bound to accumulate some interesting numbers. Jamie Moyer is the oldest ever to win 250 games. Tony Perez, now 67 years old. He faced Jamie Moyer when he was a rookie. There were 146 current major league players who had not even been born yet, including Ike Davis, the young Mets phenom first baseman. Here is Shane Victorino. And that is a called strike. The leadoff man for the Phillies popped up to short his first time.
I had a chance to talk to Ike Davis before the game today because he was disappointed he wasn't going to play. But he said tonight will be the first time he's traveled as a big leaguer on an airplane.
So they came here in a bus
from New York. And
in center field
to Cincinnati, and he's going to get to fly as a big leaguer.
Gary Matthews Jr. takes it 2 down. Monday Night Baseball tomorrow night, presented by Sears Lawn and Garden. On ESPN at 7 Eastern, the Angels and the Red Sox, the struggling Red Sox. Then Wednesday Night Baseball, presented by Captain Morgan on ESPN at 7 Eastern. Albert Pujols and the Cardinals right here to take on Howard and the Phillies at Citizens Bank Park. Tomorrow night, Joe Saunders for the Angels, Clay Buchholz for the Red Sox. And Wednesday, Brad Penny for the Cardinals. And we're not sure who will go for the Phillies. Kendrick would be due up, but he's been getting lit up lately. Strike one to Placido Polanco. I'm John Miller along with Joe Morgan and Oral Hershiser, your Sunday night telecasters. Our 21st season of Sunday Night Baseball. And we are here at the home of the Phillies, 2-time defending National League champions. The rubber match of the 3-game series with the New York Mets, who actually are the first place team. The Mets, who had been red hot when they came to town. But Roy Halliday cooled them off yesterday. Now the Mets ace, Johan Santana, trying to get the Mets the series tonight. He was touched up for home runs by Polanco and Howard in the first inning. And here is Polanco for his second trip to the plate. The count 1-2. And back in the first, Polanco got this high fastball and he hit it into the bleachers in left field. Then Ryan Howard later in the same inning took one to the opposite field, almost the same spot. But the Mets got a 3-run homer from David Wright in their first inning. They lead 3-2. The changeup, and that puts him away. One of the best changeups in the game. Only 16 pitches the last 2 innings for Santana, who seems to have found himself. 3-2 Mets. Get over 100 live out-of-market games per week in HD quality where available on your computer. Visit MLB.tv for details. The Philly fanatic doing that thing he does so well, entertaining the fans here at a Phillies game. And there's ball one from Jamie Moyer to Fernando Tatis. Tatis hit a double his first time. 3-2, the Mets are leading. And that's pulled foul by Tatis with Francoeur on deck, and then Barajas do third. 3 home runs in the first inning. David Wright hit his with 2 men on base. A 3-run shot against Moyer, and then Polanco and Howard solo shots for the Phillies against Santana. So we've got a 1-run game going on the inside corner.
Joe, against a soft tosser like Moyer, would you go up with a bigger bat? Would you change bats because of the pitcher?
No, I wouldn't with him, but that's a good
knuckleballer? Or?
Yeah, I didn't change bats. I just changed my approach. Yeah, some guys do. And it's not a bad idea.
It slows you down.
Right.
His Tatis bat looks really big there. I don't know if he changed bats, but that looks like a little bigger than normal that he uses.
Yeah, I just changed my approach. I like the fact that he's choking up a little bit there.
Yeah.
Gives you better back control against a guy like Moyer.
Yeah, he's got the knob even adjusted, so it's kind of an automatic choke up. He's got the tape there to pull his hands up.
Strike 3 call. He got the high strike. And that is the first strikeout for Jamie Moyer.
Now, one of the things that Jamie Moyer does is that the ball looks so good to the hitter that he gets him to start the bat. But right here, actually a little gravity dropped that into the top of the strike zone. Most pitchers, when they throw the ball that high, the ball doesn't actually come down. That's like a high changeup. The ball is not rotating very much. So he took a little spin off of it and just kind of dropped it in there. You don't usually say that about that type of pitch. Maybe a curveball, you take a little bit off and drop it in there. High changeup, strike 3.
But that's exactly what happened. It was out of the strike zone and just kind of dropped in.
Francoeur grounded a short his first time. Francoeur got battered and bruised here on Friday night. He hit a foul ball off his knee. He ran into a wire screen in front of the out-of-town scoreboard chasing a fly ball. And then he got hit by a pitch. And he got hit so hard he thought maybe he had broken his arm, too. And so Jerry Manuel took him out of the game and wasn't going to play him the next day. But Francoeur was so into this series that he called Manuel, said, I got to be in there. This is it. We're all up for this one. I'm ready to go. I can play. Although he admitted after the game, because he did play, that if it had not been 88 degrees, it would have been a cool day, that maybe his body would not have reacted well to it.
I think that shows you the new attitude, so to speak, with the match. Everybody wants to be in there, where there's been times when people were questioning whether they really wanted to be out there.
Well, consider what he did. Roy Halliday was the pitcher yesterday.
He wanted in there.
He's calling and saying, I need to be in there today. A lot of, especially right-handed hitters might say, you're right, I'm really beat up.
Well, that's one of those be careful what you wish for kind of days, too, with Halliday.
Francoeur played against Halliday, went 0 for 3.
Yeah. A lot of guys went 0 for 3. He only gave up 3 hits. Now he gets hit again. I don't know if he took that one for the team or not.
Well, let's go back Friday. And he ran into the right center field fence after getting this ball. There's a screen in front of those out-of-town scores. Ow. Then he was hit by a hard thrower, Danny Baez. Ow. And that's where he thought maybe he had broken his arm. And now he just got hit tonight again.
Same arm, though. I don't care if it's not in the same exact spot. Just the vibrations hurt.
He's being tested. How tough is Francoeur?
They come off a 9-1 homestand. They go from last to first. They're going in to play the Phillies on the road, kind of a measuring stick, and the guy gets hurt on 2 consecutive plays or 2 plays, and then calls the manager and says, no, I want to be in there. Roy Halliday, I don't care. Let's go.
I'm playing Skip.
They win tonight. They beat the Phillies on the road after a 9-1 homestand. That'll take Jerry Manuel's team and his attitude and the good feelings around the Met Clubhouse and leverage into the rest of this season. Remember last Sunday night we were looking at Jerry and Omar Minaya and thinking, it's a watch for their heads.
Well, I remember we asked him that.
Yeah.
How was he handling all the negativity that was surrounding the ball club? And obviously he had a great answer, and he's definitely been in control.
Rod Barajas, the hitter. He singled his first time, dunked one into shallow center. Francoeur, the runner at first. And that is at the knees for a strike. By the way, we showed banging into the fence and getting hit in the left arm by the pitch on Friday night. Francoeur also hit a foul ball off his left knee. Then his right knee got hurt hitting the right field wall. But when he hit the foul ball off his left knee, later in that same at bat, hit a home run. And that's high and tight.
You know, Joe, you complimented Jerry Manuel on how he did not lose the club over the years. The one thing about Jerry Manuel and Charlie Manuel, different styles, but one thing, they're both the same every day. They are very constant, consistent people. And that really brings a calm to your club, whether you're going bad or going good. It's like you can look to the manager and go, well, he's reacting the same way. Solid guy.
There goes Francoeur. And he steals it. Pretty good throw by Ruiz. Utley took the throw, but he got it.
Well, he almost slid late, which gave Utley a chance to tag him. If he would have slid a little sooner, it would have been easier call for the umpire. Now watch, he gets a pretty good jump. He didn't have a big lead, but he takes off at the right time. But watch how late he slides. See that? He slides late.
He actually gets to the bag before the pop-up starts. That gets him there quicker, too. A lot of times we see guys use that pop-up slide and their foot never gets to the bag. It looks like they were safe, and then when we show the slow-motion replay, you see the foot never gets there because they start to pop up, and they put that back heel of their spike in the ground too soon, and the umpire gets it right.
Jeff Francoeur had never had a whole lot of success as a base stealer, but that was an area where Jerry Manuel wanted him to do better this year. That ball is hit down the left field line, deep into the corner. That ball is off the foul pole, a home run.
Now that's what you do when you make a mistake on the bases. Hey, come back and just make up for it.
5-2 Mets, their second home run of the night, and both of them have come with men on base. Rod Barajas has hit his 6th home run of the year in only 68 at-bats.
You know, we've talked about Jamie Moyer trying to turn the field, but that ball is a slow pitch over the middle, and when it's low, Rod Barajas does not have to pull his body out of the way, so he doesn't hook it foul. He's able to keep it fair because it's low. And because that pitch was low and he was able to golf it out, he was able to keep it fair and not hook it foul. If that ball is up a little bit more, he has to pull in more and pulls it foul.
And he hit one off the foul pole here on Friday night against Brad Lidge.
We're going to take another look at it, and I'll show you something else. He does not stride. He does something like Albert Pujols every once in a while against a guy that throws a lot of off-speed pitches. Watch his leg. He doesn't pick it up and move it. He just stays right there, shifts his weight, and that allows him to stay on the pitch rather than have his body moving and get fooled by the speed. Good job there by Barajas.
Johan Santana.
Now you pat him on the back, John.
He's gone.
Now they leave him alone.
Yeah, now they leave him alone. Yeah, pat him on the back, man. He just hit him 2-run home. There he is.
Dave Giles, yeah.
Dave Giles says, hey, man, that's what I'm talking about. That's the way to play.
He just said, you know, you can't make any base running mistakes when you hit it out of the park.
That's a good point.
Something like that. Something dry sense of humor.
Here's Gary Matthews Jr. Big curveball in for the strike. Matthews the leadoff man. But Moyer not able to keep the Mets in the ballpark tonight. The Mets, who were not a home run hitting team last year, they hit fewer home runs than any team in the majors, have now hit 20 home runs this year. This is their 25th game.
Well, one problem with Jamie Moyer has is his margin for error is so slim because of his fastball, because he can't keep you off his fastball, off his changeup by throwing the fastball by you.
Moyer has not given up 7 home runs in 28 innings this year. Castro throws out Matthews. 5-2 Mets. The big hitters, Utley, Howard, and Worth are coming up. And in 60 seconds, we will chat with Jerry Manuel from the Mets dugout just before those big sluggers come up. Phillies 5-2 as we go to the last half of the fourth inning, and now we spent some face time with Jerry Manuel, Mets manager, presented by Edward Jones. And welcome, Jerry. Many thanks for coming on with us.
All right, thank you, John.
Jerry, Oral Hershiser,
how
good, pal. How's the tenor of the clubhouse now that things have turned around?
Well, pretty good. I mean, I thought we always had a decent clubhouse. You know, chemistry is never determined when you're going well. It's only determined when you go through some adversity. And we went through a little bit of adversity early, and it's been the same, Oral.
Jose Reyes in the third hole. How are you liking what you've seen so far with that move you made?
Well, I like it in the sense that I think it gives us a little bit more balance. Jose has not probably taken off like he would like to, but he's still a guy that scores runs and gets on base. So I think it just gives us a little bit more balance and a little more depth to our lineup.
And David Wright, your third baseman, he's hitting the long ball. Is this what we're going to see from Wright the rest of the year?
Well, I think if they continue to pitch him in the manner in which they pitch him, I think he has made some adjustments. And I think you'll continue to see him hit balls out of the park. But we think he's a 300 hitter and a big RBI man.
Jerry, many thanks for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
Let Jerry go back to work now as his ace left-hander, Johan Santana, throws a called strike to Chase Utley. Utley has grounded to first in his only at-bat. He'll be followed by Ryan Howard and then Jason Worth. Three big-time sluggers in a row coming up here for the Phillies. Three infielders to the right of second against Utley. And he hits it over the infield. This is going to be extra bases into the right field corner. Rancour, double for Utley.
The question is, how do you pitch Chase Utley? Because we saw the Yankees try to make adjustments in the World Series after he hit 5 home runs, and he handles left-handed pitching so well. They were supposed to go away. This ball's pretty much in the middle of the plate, and he doesn't miss it, rips it down the right field line. He has always hit left-handers. He has always hit left-handers well. I mean, he has like a 282 career average against left-handed pitching, which is very good for a left-handed hitter, because you do not face left-handers as often as you do right-handers.
He especially hits Mets left-handers well. Last season he hit .381 just against Mets lefties with 4 home runs. Here's Ryan Howard. And he can hit a left-hander as well. He hit a home run to the opposite field against this particular left-hander, Johan Santana, his first time up.
The one thing that when you watch Santana, and I saw the same thing with Tom Glavine, they do not have the curveball. They don't throw it enough to keep the left-handed hitter off balance. They use fastball and changeup, and Glavine was the same way. And a lot of managers started to understand that and put left-handed hitters in there when Glavine was pitching, because he didn't use the curveball that much. And Glavine had a curveball. Right. He just didn't use it a lot. Santana has a curveball, but we haven't seen him throw one to a left-handed hitter. That curveball keeps the left-handed hitter off balance.
Well, the other thing is, when you face a consistently right-handed hitting lineup of Johan Santana, you get in a groove with your pitches, the location of your fastball away, your changeup away. Now you give him a lineup where it's alternated back and forth, left and right, or back-to-back lefties. You have to continue to execute your pitches on both sides of the plate. So not only do you need your breaking ball, but you have to have your location of your fastball on both sides of the plate.
Utley away from second. Nobody out. Went in on Howard.
A good fastball in under the hand. But over the years when we've watched, we'll take a look from the K-zone here. Fastball, the target was also away, but this one is in under the hands. And Howard a little late on it. See, he's all tied up inside trying to get to it.
I tell you what, you can tie people up when you miss location with a man on second, because he might be giving it, and then you miss from outside to inside. The hitter's expecting it away.
Left field. Way back there. But waiting for it at the wall, Jason Bay. Not this time for Ryan Howard.
Well, it was one of those almost. It was a fastball in again, and he's so strong that he can fight the ball off the other way. The first one he swung and missed fastball in. This was supposed to be away again. There's the one under the hands. Now this one's supposed to be away. This one catches pretty much the middle of the plate. And Howard staying back. See, he just kind of taps his toe there to stay back. And he's just, I mean, he misses that by, you know what, a 1/16 of an inch. That's what Eddie Matthews used to tell me. He said, I missed that by a 1/16 of an inch. 1/16 of an inch better, I'd have hit it out of the ballpark. That means he was underneath it by a 1/16 of an inch.
And that's about the reality of it, too. That's not exaggeration.
Jason Worth. And it's 0-1. Well, sometimes it's just the ballpark. If this had been Fenway Park, at worst, I think it would have scraped off that big wall.
Yeah, well, Fenway, I think that's out because it was high enough. It probably would have gone out.
Jason Worth, who hit 36 home runs last year, flied out to right his first time. Utley at second, 1 out. On the hands and out of play.
I don't think the Phillies will complain about this ballpark and the way the ball flies either, though.
You know, John, I'd like to make a point about Ryan Howard when I said that he got tied up on that fastball in even though the target was away. With Chase Utley on second base, you will relay location to the hitter sometimes. So Rob Barajas is trying to give a sign so that Utley can't pick it up. He's staring in there. And with body language, you can tell where the catcher sets up, and then the hitter then expects it to that side of the plate. When Santana misses, if you're going one way, it goes the other way, you get jammed.
Nice play by Barajas on a little dribbler to get Jason Worth, who runs well. Utley over to third. That's really quite a play, wearing all that equipment and whatnot, and he had to hurry.
You get out from home plate, and they say quick as a cat, but he's got the base runner, the ball, and now he's got to throw it. Does a good job hooking the throw into the inside. Jason Worth comes out, a little off balance, so he didn't get out of the box well. He has to get inside that 45-foot line. Barajas does a nice job taking the risk of picking that up. Looked like it was going to go foul.
It's a great play there by Barajas. Jason Worth did a great job of not running inside the line.
Right.
He got to the outside, and if it would have been thrown away, they couldn't call interference.
Here is Ibanez. You're supposed to be in that 3-foot box. Halfway to first, they paint that box in.
But watch where he starts out, way over here. See, now he runs at that angle to get outside, you know, the foul line. And a good job, because as a right-handed hitter, you always start in fair territory when you start to run to first base. And a lot of guys just continue in a straight line towards first base, but he did a great job of getting outside the line.
What was it? Your old teammate, catcher, Hall of Famer Johnny Bench,
he'd do if he drill him in the back.
Play like that if he saw the guy inside the line at fairground.
Back. Yeah.
Hit him in the back, and he turned the umpire and says, see where he is?
Because he would still be laying there.
He really hit him in the back. That's a foul ball. So that's sort of like a warning for Johnny Bench, too. Next time, don't run in fair ground and get in my way.
Yeah, well, he had a cannon for an arm, and if he hits you in the back, a lot of times you just had to lay there for a second.
1-2 the count to Ibanez. This is a spot where Ibanez has been at his best over the years. He's been an RBI man. Formerly with the Mariners, and really became a top home run and RBI man there.
Very consistent emotionally, and even in these big situations, you never really see his body language like the game is sped up on him. You see the calmness in his face and his eyes, and very good in big situations.
It's in Santana. And that's a base hit and an RBI.
And that's what Charlie was talking to him about. Be more aggressive in the hitting zone. Don't just push that ball the other way or fight it off the other way. Go ahead and throw the barrel of the bat out front. And that's a perfect example right there. Now watch where he gets the barrel of the bat out in front. He's very aggressive. You see that? He stays back and just uses his hands and rips it to right field. Watch the barrel of the bat. See where it's aimed? Right toward the hole. So I think Charlie Manuel should get a pat on the back for that one. And from Ibanez when he comes in.
Here now is Juan Castro. Ibanez at first. And that's a base hit. Ibanez to second. Jason Bay up for the ball. 3 hits in the inning and 5 hits in the game in these first 4 innings for the Phillies against Santana. So now Ruiz comes up as Barajas is out to the mound to confer with Johan Santana, who's not used to getting knocked around like this.
Well, John, I mean, he's only using 2 pitches.
Tuesday night on E60, Hannah Storm spent today with Michael Jordan at Daytona as he witnessed his motorcycle team's long-awaited first win of the AMA Premier Superbike circuit. So Michael Jordan on E60. Then meet WBA Super Welterweight champion Yuri Foreman, a Belarusian Jew studying to be an Orthodox rabbi. That's E60 presented by Ford on ESPN Tuesday night at 7 Eastern. Carlos Ruiz, ball 1.
You know, I've always thought that, you know, you have a curveball at 3 different speeds keeps the hitter off balance better than just a fastball and a changeup. The curveball is a 3rd speed that he has to look for. And tonight, Johan has not thrown curveballs. It's been basically fastball changeup.
There's the changeup missing, and it's 2-0 to Ruiz. He's struggling.
The 2 basic pitches, the fastball and the changeup, are not there specifically. And what you're saying, Joe, is that when you don't have those locked in, sometimes just the pitch mix can get hitters off of you.
That's a 3rd speed.
2-0 the count. The fastball is low. Now, he's got a base open, albeit not first base, but the pitcher, Jamie Moyer, is up next. So he may not want anything to do with Ruiz in the first place here. Ibanez at second, Castro at first. And he does walk about 4 pitches. Sort of an intentional walk.
Jerry Manuel taking a look at his ace out there. Roy Halliday, great outing last night, but Johan Santana struggling with his command, especially on his basic 2 pitches. But you look as his career developed, the 78-mile-an-hour changeup, the 92-mile-an-hour fastball, and then take your eyes all the way up to 2010, and you see 89 and 80. That's a knee surgery, that's an elbow clean out, and that differential starts to get narrow. But fortunately for Santana, his changeup not only needs change of speed, but he has the extra weapon of movement. So the velocities are starting to converge, but he still has movement and location that can set the hitter off. But tonight, the location has kind of abandoned him.
Dan Worthen, the pitching coach, has paid a visit to Santana, who's got the bases loaded, but the opposing pitcher, Jamie Moyer, at the plate. There is Ibanez at third, Castro at second, and Ruiz at first. Moyer grounded out to short his first time. From the windup. Ball 1.
Well, if I'm hitting right here and I'm Jamie Moyer, I force him to throw a strike before I swing the bat.
Ball 2.
Now you might force him to throw 2 strikes.
And now that has really energized the sellout crowd at Citizens Bank Park. Everybody on their feet. 2-0 the count. 2-1. So he's taking one. You think he'll take another one?
Right about here, I would even think about squaring around the bunt to just upset his concentration, to try and steal a ball.
Too low. This Philly crowd trying to insinuate itself into this game. 3-1 the count with the bases loaded. And 3-2.
He's going to pitch from the windup, even though it's bases loaded 3-2. The runners will be going. They will get huge jumps.
Ibanez, Castro, Ruiz, they're running. And a foul out of play.
Well, I think in this case, it doesn't matter what the runners are doing. He's worried about throwing a strike. And his job is to make sure he throws a strike. The runner from first is not going to be able to score on a single anyway. Because they're not playing that deep for Moyer.
There they go. He walked him. Ibanez crosses with the 4th run. It's a 1-run game. A bases loaded walk to the 47-year-old Jamie Moyer. And that is one of the most exciting walks I've ever seen. And the crowd may well feel that they had something to do with it. They've been on their feet trying to get inside the head of Johan Santana. Here's the leadoff man, Shane Victorino. 5-4 Mets. A changeup, too high. Now the first baseman, Tatis, in to talk to Santana.
Ball 4. You notice the balls that he throws for a strike are slightly up, and the balls that he throws for a ball are down. His rhythm is definitely off. To throw a strike right now, he has to almost drop his elbow and push the ball over the middle of the plate.
Deep left field. Way back there. It's gone. A grand slam home run for Shane Victorino.
One of the problems you have, any pitcher, is when you get yourself into a predictable pitch count. Shane Victorino knew he was coming with the fastball. He throws it in the middle of the plate, and he doesn't miss it.
They are delirious in Philadelphia. And there's a called strike to Placido Polanco. Shane Victorino with a grand slam. Victorino. And the changeup. It's 0-2 to Polanco. Victorino hit a 3-run homer here yesterday against Pelfrey that opened it up. Now a grand slam against Santana. And that is a base hit for Polanco. The Phillies have batted around. 9 men have come up, including 6 in a row who have reached against Santana, who has taken one of the worst beatings perhaps he's ever taken in a big league game.
Well, it's the second grand slam he's given up this year. He gave up one to Josh Willingham of the Nationals. But the problem is, he pitched around Ruiz, and then he could not throw a strike to Moyer. I mean, looking back, I think he probably feels like he should have gone after Ruiz anyway.
Chase Utley led off the inning with a double down the right field line, and here he is again, the 10th man to bat in the inning. 6 runs are in, and that is a called strike.
It looked like a curveball there, the first one I've seen him throw.
That was his slider.
Listen to Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies have ignited this crowd, or maybe the crowd ignited the Phillies. That ball is gone! A tremendous blast! 10-5 Phillies.
It is hard to see it from up here, but his fastball must be straight. There must not be much movement on his fastball, because they're just, as to use the words of Charlie Manuel, they're barreling it up right here, his fastball.
The 4th home run of the game allowed by Johan Santana, who had allowed only 1 home run for the season in 5 previous starts. And they have scored 8 runs in this inning. The Mets in a hurry trying to get somebody ready. That's Takahashi, the left-hander brought in from Japan. But what a stunning and I'm sure shocking inning for the Mets and Mets fans to see Johan Santana knocked around, and I'm sure worse than he's ever been knocked around in his brilliant Major League career. 8 runs have scored, all after 2 were down. Now Jerry Manuel, so they were stalling for time. to try and get Takahashi ready. And Manuel is walking ever so slowly out to the mound. A shocking inning. An 8-run inning. A shocking night. Santana has not finished the 4th inning, and he's allowed 10 runs, 4 home runs. Shane Victorino hit a grand slam after the bases-loaded walk to the pitcher, Jamie Moyer. And then, after a Polanco single, Chase Utley hit a home run, a tape measure shot. Victorino's grand slam. 2 batters later, Utley. An 8-run thrashing, all in the 4th inning. It's 10-5 Phillies. New pitcher coming in. It's ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. And Citizens Bank Park has been rocking and rolling tonight. The Phillies administering a 10-run pounding to Johan Santana, the most runs he has ever given up in a big league game. But what's doubly shocking, he gave up 10 runs in 3 2/3 innings. 4 home runs. Phillies hit 4 against him in a game last year in New York last June, but in 7 innings. Here is Takahashi, and he throws ball 1 to Ryan Howard, who hit a home run in the 1st inning and then hit one back near the wall that was caught here in the 4th inning. Takahashi, brought over from Japan. He's been a little bit wild, but he's been tough to hit. Howard hits it. And the hits keep on coming.
Takahashi was over in Japan for 9 years, and he was a starting pitcher. This was a very quick warm-up for a guy who has 245 games, 202 starts over in Japan. So to come in out of the bullpen here, a very fast warm-up would be a challenge for him.
Jason Worth now. 8 straight Phillies have reached base since 2 men were down in this inning. And that's ball 1. Since Jason Worth had a little dribbler up the first base side and was thrown out on a brilliant play by Rod Barajas, nobody has made it out since. Ibanez singled, Castro singled, Ruiz walked, Moyer walked, Victorino a grand slam, Polanco a single, Utley a 2-run shot to right, and now Howard a single to center.
This is a hitter's worst nightmare, John, being able to make 2 outs in the same inning.
When all around him are hitting
line drives.
Yeah. Worth into the gap in right center. Francoeur on the run. He'll have to chase it. Howard to third. Perlazo waves him home, and a wild throw by Castillo, and he scores easily.
Well, he doesn't have to worry about that.
An RBI double for Jason Worth.
Good job by Worth there, because Takahashi, left-handed ball running away from him. He goes the other way, finds the gap in right center. No chance for Francoeur to run it down, and Ryan Howard, the new slim down Ryan Howard, is chugging around the bases. There's Davey Lopes. No.
Sam Palazzo.
Yep. Sam Palazzo over at third base.
Palazzo waved him as Worth gets his 12th double of the year. He leads the league in that category. And Worth also with his 17th RBI. Here is the man who got the 2-out hit to knock in the first of these runs. They scored 9 in the 4th inning. And a fastball in there for a strike. Last year, Johan Santana gave up 9 runs in a game against the Yankees in the Interleague game. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike down to Ibanez, who is 1 for 2 in the game.
When Santana got knocked out in that inning, Ibanez got a key hit in this inning because it was a 1-2 pitch that he got the hit on. He said all the runs had scored with 2 outs, so this guy hit it with 2 outs and 2 strikes.
And the curveball that almost hits Ibanez. 2-1. By the way, when Santana got thrashed by the Yankees, his previous worst game, he pitched 3 innings in that game and gave up 9 runs last year. And Santana ended up having some surgery on his left elbow. They shut him down in September. And Ibanez now has a count of 3-1. Castro is on deck. The Phillies have batted around within an inning, and I mean batted around where all 9 hitters have reached base in a row. That is a fair ball. Tatis, Takahashi covering just in time. 13 Phillies back. 9 score. Big hitters coming up for the Mets with Castillo, Reyes, and Bay. Wright would be due 4th. 11-5 Phillies. York Mets, who scored 5 runs in the first 4 innings of this game, nonetheless find themselves staring up at a 6-run deficit as we go to the 5th inning.
Well, Johan Santana had a rough night, and it was either a fastball up or a changeup up or even in the middle of the plate. And you see with these pitches, that being a fastball, but here's a high changeup that he didn't get away with. Now a high fastball. And they continue to make mistakes with both of his key pitches. Even when he got ahead, 1-2, 0-2, he still made mistakes. Polanco's home run was an 0-2 pitch. Ibanez's hit was a 1-2 pitch. So he had just enough location sometimes to get ahead, but most of the time not enough location, and he got pounded.
Well, the 3rd time in his career that he's allowed 4 home runs in a game. The last time was also against the Phillies in New York at Citi Field. The Phillies had 4 home runs against him in the first 6 innings of that game. Santana ended up pitching 7 innings that night. The curveball up and away to Castillo, who has singled and scored a run and has popped up to short. Jose Reyes on deck. Jason Bay due 3rd. David Wright would bat if they can get somebody on base here. Castro. 1 away. It was June the 9th at Citi Field last year, and Ryan Howard took him out of the yard with a bullpen. Pretty good shot. Ibanez went deep, and Jimmy Rollins took one out of the yard, and then Chase Utley. 4 of them. That's a pretty big yard to hit 4 home runs in the same game. As Reyes is gone, Reyes has been very, very aggressive against Jamie Moyer tonight.
Well, he swung the first pitch each and every time he's been to the plate. It was interesting, you know, looking at those home runs he gave up last year. A high change up to Ryan Howard. All the rest were fastballs.
And 3 out of the 4 from left-handed hitters. Yeah. Like you talked about, no breaking ball.
No breaking ball. If you're a left-handed hitter and you're facing a left-handed pitcher that just throws fastball changeup, he doesn't throw your breaking ball, then he's no different than a right-handed hitter, because there's nothing to make you bail or there's nothing to keep you off balance.
Right. And the fact that he throws so many strikes, too. So you really are just worried about speed. Is it going to be the changeup or the fastball? And he's going to pound the strike zone. This is a rarity in his career this night.
And the slider from Moyer down and in, almost hit him in the foot. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jason Bay, who's had an infield single and has also been thrown out on a beautiful play by Polanco on a slow chop. Gets that one in the air. Victorino makes the catch. A very quick inning for Jamie Moyer. 9 pitches and out. Bad news for the Mets. Phillies are coming up again. Citizens Bank Park, which appears to be all filled up for the 51st consecutive time, every game this year. And why not? The Phillies are an extremely successful and very entertaining ball club. And the Phillies have endeavored to try and keep this ball club together. You know, the core players, the core group that has led them to 2 straight World Series. As Juan Castro leads off here, he's playing in place of the injured Jimmy Rollins. And a fastball, a swinging strike, and it's 0-1. Rollins under the disabled list after straining a calf muscle, and he's out indefinitely. He's not going to rush it. He said he learned that a couple of years ago when he had an injury problem. And he rushed back and re-injured himself and made it worse.
Well, the problem is legs are a big part of his game. And if you can't play the game the way you're supposed to, or you want to, then you're defeating the purpose of trying to get back on the field.
Takahashi in relief of the Mets ace, Johan Santana, who is roughed up by the Phillies big time. The most runs he's ever allowed in a game. 10 runs, 8 hits, and 3 2/3 innings. The last time a Mets pitcher allowed 10 runs, I don't think it'll be much consolation to Johan Santana, but the last Met pitcher to allow 10 in a game was a pretty good one. Al Leiter, 7 years ago in San Francisco. He had a nightmarish night against the Giants. You ever allowed 10 in a game, Oral?
I'm sure, multiple times.
Well, you got to be pretty good for him to leave you out there that long.
Exactly. You know, Johan Santana's last victory was his 125th, and he's 125 and 61. He could be 125 and 62, but there's only been 5 pitchers since 1970 to get to their 125th win with 61 or fewer losses. You know, Clemens, Pedro Martinez, Mike Mussina, Ron Guidry. Some real good ones.
3-2 to Castro. Well, all big names. Only 2 made that list back in the 60s.
Yeah.
And they were both among the all-time greats.
Whitey Ford, one of them?
Yeah.
Who's the other one?
Whitey Ford, the chairman of the board, they used to call him.
Juan Marichal.
Juan Marichal. The Dominican dandy. Both Hall of Famers. David Wright. And he throws out Castro, and there is one away in the Phillies' 5th. Now let's go to the studio to Steve Berthume for a Sports Center right now. And the curveball is too low to Carlos Ruiz. 11-5. The Phillies lead the Mets here in the 5th inning. With Jamie Moyer on deck. Must be nice to be 47-year-old and pitch for the Phillies. When you give up 5 runs in the first 4 innings, and by the end of the 4th inning, you're ahead by 6.
It was kind of a statement game. You know, the Mets jump out and get 3, and the Phillies come back and get 2, and the Mets are in first place. Then they get another 2 in the 4th, but up jumps the 9 spot.
Ruiz with a foul down the left field line. Jamie Moyer, who began his career back in 1986. And in the 80s, he won 32 and lost 43. In fact, he had some time back in the minor leagues after he broke into the big leagues. The 90s, he was better. But after the turn of the century, that's when he seemed to get really good.
Well, he's won more games in his 40s than he did in his 20s. That's amazing.
Took him a long time to learn how to pitch, I guess.
Well, he said 96 wins since he turned 40. Only 2 players in the history of the game have won more than that. Phil Niekro, after he turned 40, won 121 games. He's in the Hall of Fame. Jack Quinn, another who won more than that. I didn't see Jack Quinn pitch.
Okay.
Apparently he was really good when he was very old.
Joe?
Wrong guy. I don't know. I also don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame. Is he?
You're the Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but I don't know
He hadn't been there at any of those dinners.
I was hoping you'd tell me. 2-2 the count. The guy I always think of as having great success in his later years as a big leaguer was Warren Spahn.
Right. He was fabulous.
Strike 3 called to Ruiz. On the outside, Takahashi gets him. 2 down, and now Jamie Moyer will come up. 11-5. The Phillies are out in front for Jamie Moyer. Jack Quinn, for many years, also had the distinction, not only winning a lot of games after he was 40, he also had the distinction of being the oldest player to have hit a home run until Julio Franco came along and hit one when he was even older.
Now, if Jamie Moyer hits one right here, he'll have be the oldest in a lot of things.
If he hits one, I think the Mets could just pack their bags and head off, because it's not going to have a good finish for him. Jamie Moyer, all those years he's been around, has never hit a home run in the big leagues.
Joe, how many did you have in your career? 368? 268?
Being honest with you, I don't know exactly.
Well, we had the same amount.
That's a base hit to left field.
The reason I say I don't know, I hit some other than at second base, so I don't know. You know, I'm not a numbers guy anyway.
Well, I'm just saying the total home runs that you and I have in our career is the same as the number you have.
Oh, you didn't hit one either.
No.
You never hit a home run?
No, I didn't try to hit it. The 2 or 3 times I tried, I hit the wall in Cincinnati once, and I think I popped up a few more times.
So you mean if you tried, you definitely would have hit several?
I think a few. No, don't give me those looks. We don't have the booth cam on right now. He's rolling his eyes, people.
Shane Victorino, no swing, they say. 1 ball to no strike. Victorino, he apologized to everybody after not hustling on a swing and a miss, strike 3, or the ball got away from the catcher on Friday. And he apologized to his teammates, apologized to the fans. Said that will never happen again. And he's been doing a lot of heavy hitting since then, too. Yesterday, Victorino had a double and a 3-run homer. Now, tonight, he's got this single plus a grand slam in the 4th. His grand slam put the Phillies ahead against Santana.
When he first came here and became an everyday player, that was the thing that he brought to this lineup. He injected energy, so I can see why he's embarrassed for that lack of hustle and apologize to the Philly fans. They will let you know, but that was one of the great attributes that he brought to this lineup.
Here is Placido Polanco. Now, he'd been struggling big time since the first 10 games of the year when you couldn't get him out. And he's got his 3rd hit of the night. Jamie Moyer. He's coming. Still coming. He won't get there. Jeff Francoeur throws him out. We're going to the 6th inning. David Wright coming up for the Mets, and they are trailing 11-5. Boathouse Row is located on the east bank of the Schuylkill River, where racing shells line the water, and is home to several major rowing regattas. Lights were installed in 1979 to outline each of the boathouses, which, if you take the Acela train to the northeast corridor in the evening, you can often enjoy the sight of that. And it is quite a sight.
I took this Acela train yesterday from New York. It's pretty cool.
It's that part of the country where train travel is a great way to get around. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan and Oral Hershiser. And by the way, the last time, we were just told the last time that a Mets pitcher gave up as many runs as Santana tonight, and even fewer outs recorded. Santana pitched 3 2/3 innings, so 11 outs. They gave up 10 runs. It was also a Mets game against the Phillies.
Wow.
25 years ago. So here are the Mets coming up now. And you see the lineup card. And for the Mets, things started out so beautifully when this man, David Wright, hit a 3-run homer in the first against Jamie Moyer. Although the Phillies came back with a couple of solo homers in the first to make it 3-2. Barajas hit a 2-run shot off the foul pole in the fourth inning to make it 5-2. Things looked real sweet for the Mets indeed here in the rubber match of this first series of the year between these two rivals. 1-1 the count to David Wright, who was also flied out to center in addition to his home run. And Moyer is off the inside. The Phillies are getting somebody ready in their bullpen for the first time. Back of Moyer. Moyer tried to score from second on that base hit to right by Polanco. And even though he is in such superb condition, you wonder if that would take something out of him. Oral, now you were a pitcher. Did
it does
you
take
have
a little
time?
bit out of you.
Yeah.
Just make Jamie's change up a little slower.
And there is one away. Back in the fourth inning, Jamie Moyer walked with the bases loaded. That made it 5-4. And then Victorino followed with a grand slam against Santana. And then two batters after that, Utley hit a spectacular home run deep into the right field stands. And that was all for Santana. 10 runs on the board, 8 of them in that inning up to that point, and they added another run against the reliever, Takahashi. 11-5 Phillies, including a 9-run fourth inning rally. Tatis the hitter with a count of 2 balls and no strikes. Chad Durbin up in the Phillies bullpen, a right-hander, just in case. And he got the high strike to Tatis. Has doubled and been called out on strikes. Pedro Feliciano, left-hander up in the Mets bullpen. Change-up, and that flew him badly. Moyer has not allowed a base runner since they went ahead in this game. And the change-up a little bit low for a ball.
He's gotten every leadoff hitter out except for one that he's faced. Coming into tonight's game, 88% of the leadoff hitters of an inning he's faced, he's gotten out. He attacks and he knows that first strike and first batter out.
Right center field, Victorino, and 2 men are gone. 2 down and nobody out, and Jeff Francoeur is coming up now. When Nelson Mandela shook hands with the captain of the South African team at the 1995 Rugby World Cup, 2 nations became one. Oscar winner Morgan Freeman and director Clifford Bestall tell the emotional story of that cornerstone moment and what it meant to South Africa's national healing process. The 16th Man on ESPN Tuesday at 8 Eastern, part of ESPN Films' critically acclaimed 30 for 30, presented by Levi's. Jeff Francoeur has grounded out to short, been hit by a pitch. And a curveball in the dirt, and he did not get hit by that one. Fortunately, because he got hit in the 4th inning by a pitch after getting drilled yesterday. $45,439 the paid crowd, the 51st consecutive sellout. And this is the high for the season. Jamie Moyer threw 25 pitches in the 1st inning. The Mets got 20 pitches in the 4th inning. And they got 2 more. Closing in at 100 for the game. Fastball is very high. His 97th pitch. And the way things began, if he can go 6 tonight, I think at age 47, the Phillies will be very pleased with that.
Yeah, I would think this would be his last inning. And this is a big deal. Getting through the inning when he comes around 3rd and gets thrown out at home, giving him that extra inning, it's almost more valuable than the run he attempted to score.
Three and 2. Change up. Francoeur hits the pop up. Howard goes over and gets it. Nice play by Howard, who was running out of room. 8 in a row retired by Moyer. Perhaps the last 8 that he will face tonight. Grill fan experience. Citizen Bank Park's Ashburn Alley, named for the beloved Richie Ashburn, Hall of Famer and a great broadcaster for the Phillies for many years. A festive entertainment area over 600 feet in length. And there's the plaque commemorating Richie Ashburn, Whitey, he was known as. The alley includes a Phillies All-Star Walk, memory lane, and the Phillies Wall of Fame. And it also includes many different food options. Joe, I thought you'd be interested in this.
Okay.
Including the Bulls Barbecue, named for none other than the former Philly slugger, Bull Luzinski, Greg Luzinski. And he could hit him. Did he ever take you deep, Morrow? Did Bull ever get you? Or
I don't.
Was he in the other league by then? He was before your time.
A little bit.
There is Pedro Feliciano in for the Mets now. As we head to the last of the 6th inning, the big hitters are up again. Chase Utley, Ryan Howard, Jason Worth are the 3 hitters due up here against Feliciano. And that is a ball too low. The Mets have not spent much time on the road this year. This is only the 3rd road series that they have played. The rubber match of the series, they was so hot when they got here, and they won in a blowout here on Friday night. And then they were brought back to earth by Roy Halliday, who pitched a shutout against them yesterday. And now tonight, their ace, Johan Santana, got blasted by the Phillies. 4 home runs in 3 2/3 innings. You think Santana just had a bad night, and you think there's something not right with him?
No, I think it's a blip on the screen. 4 out of 5 quality starts coming into tonight. He had a scoreless inning streak, I think, of around 15 innings coming in. Jerry Manuel, he's been throwing the ball very, very well from him. And I think Johan just had a bad night with his location, maybe a little bit with his rhythm and his mechanics. And he's the kind of guy who will fix it in a hurry and get back on the beam and be the stopper and ace for this club.
And I agree with that. When you have 30-plus starts, you're going to have some bad starts. I mean, it's just that simple.
1-2 the count to Chase Utley, who led off that 4th inning, the 9-run 4th inning, with a double. And then was the man who knocked Santana out of the game with a 2-run homer that made it an 8-run inning. They added another run against Takahashi, the reliever, for a 9-run inning all told. And Utley is gone, 1 away.
You know, we're talking about Ryan Howard and all the improvements he's made, both physically and at first base. He made a great play on this ball. Francoeur hit it in the hole. Now watch the throw. This is a tough play. He ends up catching the ball up here, so he has to time it perfectly as he does, and makes a great play. I mean, that was not an easy short hop that, you know, first baseman scoop out. That was an excellent play there by great hand-eye coordination from Ryan Howard, which is also one of the reasons he's such a great hitter, great hand-eye coordination.
Howard has hit a home run, has flied out deep to left, and has singled in this game. 2 for 3. And a foul up the first base side.
You know, I've always contended that if you're a good hitter and have that good hand-eye coordination, you can be a good defensive player if you work at it. Because the same things that it takes to be a good hitter, the same thing it takes to be a good defensive player. Good hand-eye coordination and good movement. You may not be able to run balls down or have the range that you would like, but catching the ball, you should be able to catch it.
You worked hard early on in your career.
I definitely
worked on softening your hands. And
that's why I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Because I was not a good defensive second baseman when I got to the big leagues.
Yeah.
But I was a pretty good offensive player, and so I learned to be able to play defense by working at it. And that's what we've seen Ryan Howard do. Yeah, I got a shelf.
I know you're not a numbers guy, but you might be in the gold.
I got a shelf full of them, you know.
A shelf full?
I got a couple.
Yeah.
Opposite field. Toward the corner. Fair ball. And Ryan Howard has a double, his 3rd hit, to go with a single and a homer of the night.
And he is really staying in there on the left-handed pitchers and not moving. We haven't seen him throw him a lot of curveballs, but he's staying in there and going the other way. He's not pulling off. And watch, he doesn't pull off this pitch, fastball in, he just fights it off and goes the other way. He did that with Santana on a changeup away, and he just fights it off down the left field line.
Tell you what, he really shrinks a ballpark because he doesn't have to even make a big swing, and he hits that ball about 334 feet right to the base of the wall.
Here now is Jason Worth. Worth hit an RBI double his last time, as Feliciano slings one softly in there for a called strike. We've talked about Ryan Howard, and he has worked hard to become a better defensive player, which puts me in mind of Albert Pujols.
Yeah,
Pujols played a lot of different positions when he first came up. He played the outfield, he played third base, he played first base. Finally locked him into first base, and Albert worked extremely hard. He was not known as a good defensive player, and he became a Gold Glover at first base, about as good as there is.
Well, when you're a great hitter, a lot of times your offense overshadows your defense anyway. I mean, people look at you as a great offensive player.
You raise the bar so high with your bat that everybody expects you to at least get close to that with your glove, and sometimes you can't without a lot more work. you sure don't get to the big leagues usually with a glove when you play on the corners.
Right, exactly. You better be able to hit.
They're going to have you work on your defense once you arrive with the bat.
Jason Worth with Howard at second. Just missing the count. It is now 2-2. The Mets bullpen is working. He's usually not in there very long when he comes into a game. He's more of a specialist. Fernando Nieve, a right-hander, getting ready in the bullpen. Looks like he is ready if needed. One out, runner at second. Got another left-handed hitter on deck, Raul Ibanez. Phillies also have action going in their bullpen. Chad Durbin is up again. So Jamie Moyer had around 100 pitches for the night. Likely finished. There's Charlie Manuel.
Charlie is becoming a real folk hero. I mean, he really is. People are starting to really understand that.
Nice play by Wright to his feet. One hot throw, not in time.
And that's the speed of Jason Worth feeding out that infield hit. He runs well. We talked about how good a player he is, a good all-around player. But what I was saying about Charlie, people are starting to understand how well he has handled this Philly ball club over the years. And you see, he gets out of the box well. He's off balance. David Wright having to dive for it. And by the time he gets up, it's just very difficult to throw someone out with the speed of Jason Worth. And again, he's trying to get to the outside, although he runs down the line, stays in fair territory for a long time on that particular play.
Well, it doesn't matter so much when the play's coming from that other side of the diamond, right?
Right. Well, it's a smart play to stay on the inside because that's the straightest line, because you start inside from the right-hander's batter's box. But when it's behind you, as we mentioned, you have to get outside so the catcher will have a throwing lane.
Ibanez is 1 for 3. And Castillo gets 1. Reyes 2. A double play. And that is the inning. 2 hits, 1 man left. On to the 7th inning. Barajas, who has a home run tonight, coming up. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan and Oral Hershiser. Sunday Night Baseball. The Phillies, 2-time defending National League champions, here in the rubber match of their series with the Mets, holding an 11-5 lead. mostly by virtue of their 9-run fourth-inning rally against, most of it against Johan Santana. Here's Chad Durbin in for the bullpen in relief of Jamie Moyer, who went 6 innings. He allowed 5 runs, but the Phillies supported him very grandly, including a grand slam by Shane Victorino. Rod Barajas, his last at bat was the Mets' high water night of the evening, when he hit a home run to make it 5-2 Mets. Castro throws him out the first time Barajas has been retired in this game.
Now, Jamie Moyer was on top of his game tonight, and he does it by changing speeds and changing eye level. Change up away, cutter into Castillo. Then he comes back, cutter in to David Wright, and then a fastball that looks juicy, but it's too high to get on. And then to Frenchie, goes cutter in, and then change up away. Yes, he gets himself out by chasing it, but he still used both sides of the plate, changed eye levels, changed speeds.
Well, almost invariably, Jamie Moyer's whole deal is for the hitter to get himself out. So no surprise there. Catalanato, the pinch hitter for Feliciano here in the 7th inning. By the way, the Mets owner, Jeff Wilpon, general manager Omar Minaya, asked us if we could send along best wishes to Tom Fursh, a longtime Mets employee in the ticket department. And he underwent surgery this week, and they lead the entire organization in wishing him well and hoping for a speedy recovery from the surgery. So our best wishes to Tom Fursh, who seems to have made quite an impression in that Mets organization over the years. Frank Catalanato, the pinch hitter, with Gary Matthews Jr. on deck. And a cutter from Durbin is too high for a ball. 2-2. Phillies made big news at the beginning of this week when they announced that they had completed a contract extension with their slugging first baseman Ryan Howard. This was a pretty big story because of the sheer numbers involved. Howard, who is under contract for this year and also next year, signed an extension that is reportedly worth $125 million, $25 million a year for 5 more years starting in 2012. Ruben Amaro Jr., the general manager of the Phillies, was out there in San Francisco to make the announcement. They had the press conference at AT&T Park in San Francisco. This is Polanco. Catalanato is retired, and 2 men are gone. Leadoff man Gary Matthews Jr. will come up. But Ruben Amaro, I think they've already set the tenor of the future. They've been steadily locking up their core players to multi-year extensions as they've gone along. And he basically said that Ryan Howard was a great slugger for them, and they thought that this was the time to put him in the fold for many years to come. Tomorrow, he's one of the elite offensive players in the game. We could have waited another year and a half or so. And that is a ball down and away. 2-0 the count to Gary Matthews Jr., who's 0 for 3. But the fact of the matter is, we decided that he is important to our organization and to our club and to our future. I guess so. Sort of goes without saying. Ibanez. The last 11 Mets have been retired in succession. Last of the 7th inning. And the Phillies lead the Mets 11-5. is ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. From the outside, looking in at beautiful Citizens Bank Park, which is really, it's a great place to watch a game. And the Phillies have made it even that much better by being such a good ball club in this ballpark. The game summary, the Phillies with 11 runs, 15 hits, and you'll notice the 9 spot in the 4th inning. That was pretty big. 9 straight batters reached base, and 9 runners scored with 2 down in that inning. Ryan Howard's had a 3-hit game, including a home run. Chase Utley has a double and a homer, and Shane Victorino a single and a grand slam. There is Fernando Nieve in from the Mets bullpen now, the 4th Mets pitcher used by Jerry Manuel. Feliciano gave up a couple of hits in the 6th inning, but no runs. The Mets leave after this game, and they may be happy to get out of Philly after this one. They go to Cincinnati. They play a game in Cincinnati tomorrow night. Dusty Baker's Reds. Joey Votto and company. Juan Castro facing Nieve. The count 1-1 strike. We're talking about Ryan Howard.
Well, John, there's
the
been
contract
a lot of
that he got.
There have been a lot of people weigh in on the contract. You know, I thought Bobby Cox weighed in with his opinion of the future. You know, Albert Pujols, because most people are wondering if Ryan Howard got X, what is Albert Pujols worth? And Bobby Cox kind of weighed in, and I think a lot of people took it the wrong way. I think Bobby is always, knowing Bobby as I do, he was actually complimenting Pujols. He's not criticizing anyone else. He's just saying he's the best player in the game, and therefore he's worth twice as much as anybody else. He does everything right. He's great defensively. He runs the bases great. He's smart, and he's the best hitter there is. He's the best. Let's put it that way. And I don't think anybody disagrees with that. But a lot of people are saying, well, they're paying the elite players a lot of money. Well, they've always played the elite players a lot of money. There was a time when, the elite players, Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, they were making $100,000. That was the top of the line. The other players weren't making 99. They were a long ways off. And I think that's what we're seeing now. The elite players are going to get paid. And there's nothing, anyone can do about it. And I think it's only fair that the elite players get paid, because in most cases they're going to put, fans in the stands, and they do the things that draw fans to the ballpark.
Ruiz, the hitter now. Well, for me, I leave it up to the teams. The Phillies obviously thought this was a good business decision for them. The Phillies have won the National League pennant 2 years running.
Well, I think you think about what was going to happen this offseason, you might have Albert Pujols signed for something much larger than Ryan Howard got, and a high tide raises all ships. So maybe the Phillies acted quickly before that bar got raised, and Ryan went right with Albert. So go before him before the bar gets raised.
Castillo throws out. Ruiz, 2 down. Ryan Howard is just starting his 5th full season in the big leagues. His first 4 full seasons versus Albert Pujols' first 4 full seasons. And Albert with the higher batting average, higher on base average. But Ryan Howard, bigger power numbers. As big as Albert's were, Howard has averaged just about 50 homers and 143 batted in his first 4 full seasons.
Albert Pujols also has 3 Most Valuable Player awards, and if it wasn't for Barry Bonds, I would say that he would have a couple more. Howard, of course, has 1, and he's also, last year he tied for the league lead in RBIs. He's led the league in home runs. So they are the elite players, and again, they're going to get paid. And if you're upset about it, like I say, you just go back and look over the history of the game. Look at it, the NBA. Look at football. The best players, the elite players, get paid. LeBron James, these guys are going to get paid next year in his free agency. The quarterbacks in the NFL, they get paid. So the elite players in every sport, they're going to get paid. and baseball's no different.
That is the inning. Nieve ended it quickly. We're going to the 8th inning. Castillo, Reyes, Jason Bay, maybe David Wright. 11-5, Philadelphia.
Like Taco Bell, think outside the bun.
The Philly fanatic. Thought maybe somebody needed a little extra popcorn. 11-5, the Phillies are leading the Mets as we head to the 8th inning. He was going after a Mets fan out there. As if the Phillies haven't taken care of that themselves here the last couple of days. There is Ben Francisco in right field replacing Jason Worth. Chad Durbin into his 2nd inning. Luis Castillo takes a cutter off the inside. Castillo, then Reyes, and then Jason Bay coming up. A 9-run 4th inning for the Phillies. 8 of them charged to Johan Santana. There's Chase Utley. Backhands it. And he got it. One away. Now to the studio. Here's Steve Berthume with the Sports Center right now. '74, which was quite a year when the Orioles came from way behind the Red Sox in September. 7.5 games out with 34-5 to play, and they overtook them and went to the postseason. Red Sox are 4th in the American League East after being swept there. They're 11-14. And how about the White Sox? White Sox got clobbered today by the Yankees, and they are 10-15. And the Orioles swept the Red Sox this weekend to move their record up to 7 wins and 18 losses.
A few surprises in that American League East. Toronto above Boston. Tampa Bay 17-7. Yankees in 2nd. And Boston down in 4th.
18-7 now.
18-7. Yeah.
They beat Zach Greinke today in a game where they got only 1 run against him, and they won it 1-0.
Wow.
Zach has not won a game this year. Greinke is 0-4, I guess now.
He's got a 2.27 ERA and is 0-3. Tampa Bay, the best record in the majors. And there's a ball a little bit low to Jason Bay. The Athletics, although they've been getting clobbered this week, they go home, play Texas tomorrow night. But they have done real well with some outstanding young pitching. Although they were racked with injuries this week. And all of a sudden, they were losing by big scores every day. The Toronto Blue Jays, without Roy Halladay, are at 13-13. So I guess they've held their own so far, but that will not get them very far in that division. 1-2. Bay broke his bat on that one. David Wright on deck. There's Roy Halladay. Yesterday, Halliday pitched a shutout here. And Halliday is doing some things that have not been done in a long time. He has 5 wins in his first 6 starts. And Halliday has 3 complete games and 2 shutouts. And no Phillies pitchers achieved that combination of things in his first 6 starts of the season since Hall of Famer Steve Carlton in 1972. And that was one of the greatest years any pitcher ever had in baseball history. The Phillies were abysmally bad. They won 59 games for the whole year, and Carlton won 27 and lost 10 for the worst team in baseball. And that is a ball inside, and it keeps the inning going. A walk for Bay brings David Wright to the plate. The first walk allowed by the Phillies.
Steve Carlton was absolutely amazing. How about a breaking ball there? Talk about a left-hander with a breaking ball, Joe. It was one of the biggest sliders you'll ever see in your life.
And hard. Their other starting pitchers were 32 and 87.
Roy Halladay had a rough outing the outing before this 10-0 shutout, and he decided he'd break out a new toy. I'll tell you what, inventing pitches on the fly, winning Cy Young's, coming over here to be a integral part of this Philadelphia Philly quest to go to a 3rd World Series. He started throwing a changeup, but I thought it was a split finger yesterday.
Well, it looked like a splitter.
Yeah, it danced like a splitter, and it was outstanding.
The Halliday has been great, but it didn't come inexpensively because they let Cliff Lee go, for one thing, and they had to trade some of their young prospects.
Shallow center, Victorino. David Wright, who had a home run his first time up, 3-run shot, is now 1 for 4. 11-5, Roy Halladay off to a sensational start. He could hardly have been better than he's been so far. We'll talk about that at greater length when we come back. Sunday night baseball, and quite an impressive display of power by the two-time defending National League champion Phillies in the rubber match of this 3-game series with the Mets. They lead 11-5 as K-Rod, the Mets closer, comes in the spot where he just needs to get a little work. It's been a while since K-Rod was in a game. They haven't needed him all weekend, and after a day off on Thursday, so Francisco Rodriguez to face the top of the Phillies batting order. Victorino at the plate, then Polanco and Utley to follow. And the fastball is too high. Polanco, Ryan Howard, Victorino, and Utley have all hit home runs. In fact, they all hit home runs against Santana. 4 home runs allowed and 10 runs overall by Santana in 3 2/3 innings. At the knees, and it's 1-2. Victorino is 2 for 4. You were talking, Oral, about Roy Halladay. The Phillies limped into yesterday's game. They'd been blasted here Friday night. The Mets were the hottest team around. They were ahead of the Phillies. Phillies did very poorly on a road trip. They hadn't hit for 2 weeks. And Roy Halladay, the man brought in to be the ace of the staff, and he was the stopper yesterday. Very ace-like. Castillo throws out Victorino.
The pitch that really helped him yesterday was his changeup or split finger. Take a look at it coming through. You see the fingers are split, and watch the toppling action on this ball. Slides through that top index finger, creates spin downward, and it really buries. He did a great job keeping it down, making it look like a fastball down the middle, and then just watching it bury down. Full arm speed, so you've got 92-mile-an-hour arm speed coming at you, but the fingers are split, which creates a change of speed, and then that index finger rolling over the top creates that movement.
Here is Polanco. Halliday is 5-1 with a 1.47 earned run average. He's only walked 4 in 49 innings with 39 strikeouts. And he already has 3 complete games this year.
2 shutouts.
His only loss came to the Giants in his last road trip.
Tuesday in San Francisco. The Giants got it. 2 down now as Polanco is gone. Polanco 3 for 5. And here comes Chase Utley.
Very popular here in Philly.
Chase Utley. Now this is a woman with a sign saying, "Chase, my boyfriend loves you. It's awkward." That's a good sign.
That could be the best ever. We've seen a lot of creative signs over the years. Leave it to Philadelphia.
Chase Utley, who hit one tonight for all of his fans, awkward or not.
Look, I grew up in Cherry Hill across the bridge, Walt Whitman Bridge in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and used to come to the Flyer games, and they had Sign Man, and he was behind the net, and it used to be Bernie Perron, only Jesus saves more. He had all kinds of signs. The refs would come out.
Utley into right field, and there is Francoeur. And that ends the inning. Hold that thought, Oral.
Well, they put a sign up for 3 blind mice when the refs would come out.
9th inning. Major League Baseball and People magazine are looking for individuals who make a difference in their community. 30 everyday All-Stars will be honored at the 2010 All-Star Game in Anaheim. To nominate, go to peopleallstars.com. The fastball right into the chin of Fernando Tatis from Danny Baez, just in from the Phillies bullpen. Baez, who drilled Jeff Francoeur in yesterday's game, got him on the arm. 11-5. The Phillies are leading here in the ninth inning. And you go back, and Marty Aronoff, our Hall of Fame statistician, a comebacker, and Tatis is out number one. He's 1 for 4 in the game. He points out that Jamie Moyer's trip to the plate in that big fourth inning might have been the key to the whole thing.
Well, it was, and
he drew a bases-loaded walk.
Actually, it was his play. It was his at bat before that I think was important. He grounded out, but he hit it sharply, and I think Johan did not want to lay a fastball in the middle of the plate on the first pitch. Tried to make a good pitch, and before you knew it, it was 2-0 and then 3-0, and he just couldn't battle back. But if Moyer would not have hit the ball sharply his time at bat before, I think he would have just thrown him 3 fastballs down the middle.
The score at that time was 5-3 Mets, and you had the pitcher up, not a particularly good hitter, and he gets him out. The inning's over, and who knows what the score is right now, but he walked him and forced in a run. Then the next hit of Victorino, grand slam, and before the inning was over, they'd scored 3 more after the grand slam. Utley hit a 2-run homer, but that walk to Jamie Moyer kept the whole thing, sort of opened that door for the Phillies.
People at home are probably thinking, Joe, what are you thinking? You know, Jamie Moyer intimidated Johan Santana, but what did he do his next at bat? He got a base hit to left field. Showed that he could put the bat on the ball.
Exactly.
He just laid it in there.
He knows that he can put the bat on the ball, and if he just lays it in there, he may hit it.
Well, even the ground ball to short that you're talking about
sharply
hit the ball hard.
Yep, he did. He's hit the ball hard both times that he hit the ball. The other time he walked, but I think that Johan did not want to just lay it in there, and he got behind in the count.
And one thing I would like to ask Moyer, when he tried to score in the 5th inning, I don't remember even seeing what the coach, Sam Perlazo, was doing. I don't think Perlazo was waving it with Francoeur in right field. But he just kept on going, and he got thrown out by plenty. And perhaps, I'm thinking he wanted it that way. Shallow center, Victorino, and 2 men are gone. Our Chevrolet player of the game, by the way, since we're looking at Shane, is Shane Victorino, who hit the grand slam in the 4th inning. And suddenly the Phillies, who were down 5-4, one moment were ahead 8-5 the next. He had a 3-run homer yesterday. He's been victimizing the Mets now in each of these last 2 games.
There's so many weapons in that Philadelphia lineup. You know, Jimmy Rollins is hurt, but still this lineup is deep. Anybody can hurt you.
Barajas, who has a home run tonight, his 2-run homer in the 4th gave the Mets a 5-2 lead. The Mets have not had a hit since then.
But as good as this lineup is, as good as they've showed the last 2 days, Jimmy Rollins needs to be in there for them to be able to have a great season, I believe, because there are going to be some games where they need his speed to steal a base, get on base, just to make things happen.
This team was formulated to get back to the World Series and accomplish that goal of winning it, beating, if you think it's going to be the evil empire, the Yankees, but right now it's looking like Tampa Bay. So we've got 5 more months to go.
I don't think I've bet against the Yankees yet.
No.
Chase Utley, the Phillies, after losing on Friday and getting blown out, come back and take the series from the Mets. And they take it coming from behind against the ace of the Mets, Johan Santana, in a big way.
Well, the Mets made a big statement in their homestand, 9-1, come in here, win the first game, but then the Phillies respond. But the Mets can hold their head high because they've got themselves back in this race. They're only a half a game out, 2nd place.
Well, I think that was the key, to come in here and not be swept by the Phillies as has happened in the past. They came in, they won the first game, and that in effect, was really enough because, as you said, they can feel good about themselves because they're back in the race, and they know that they can deal with the Phillies if they have to later on.
And the Phillies feel good about it because they beat the ace. They fall behind with Jamie Moyer, the ageless one, 47. He got it done.
Big weekend in Philadelphia with the Mets in town. Now the Central Division leading St. Louis Cardinals. Albert Pujols and Ryan Howard will go face-to-face here the next 3 days in Philly. Phillies win it. Now SportsCenter comes up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. But Joe